stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Comedy
I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma, okay? Get over that. It's just gone on too long. Nobody cares anymore. I don't want to live in your paranoid world anymore, your masked paranoid world. You know, you go out, it's silly now. You know, you have your mask, you have to have a card, you have to have a booster.
This is what we're doing to protect our families. And you don't have to do it, but stay away from everybody. Because if you're the one who's not paying attention and you're coughing and sneezing, you don't want to, then stay out of the public, man. And this is not, nobody wants this.
settle the score.
Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class? I mean,
A classic.
Democrats run for office as if the voters don't live here. As if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office. But they do. They live here. And they actually see women and people of color. And it doesn't look like some patriarchal racist nightmare. Do problems remain pertaining to racism? Of course.
BillMaher is
But a poll last year asked if America is the greatest country in the world. More blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people.
What happens when two of Hollywood's most outspoken figures collide in a no-holds-barred debate? BillMaher and Whoopi Goldberg's fiery exchange has left audiences divided, exposing the cracks in Hollywood's woke armor. But this isn't just a celebrity spat. It's a battle over free speech, hypocrisy, and the cultural divide that defines our era. Let's dive into the controversy that has everyone talking. BillMaher has never been one to shy away from controversy, and his critique of pandemic protocols is no exception. On his show, Real Time with BillMaher, he called out what he sees as excessive and performative measures like mandatory masks, vaccine cards, and boosters. "I don't want to live in your paranoid world anymore," he declared, comparing the experience to being scanned like groceries at a checkout line. His comments struck a nerve, especially with those who see these measures as essential for public health. But Maher wasn't done. His remarks set the stage for a broader critique of societal paranoia and virtue signaling, and who was quick to respond? None other than Whoopi Goldberg, who labeled his remarks as flippant and accused him of disregarding the struggles of vulnerable populations. But this was just the beginning of their clash. Whoopi Goldberg has been no stranger to controversy herself. From her remarks about the Holocaust to her defense of progressive policies, she's become a lightning rod for debates on political correctness. Her comments often spark outrage, but they also ignite important conversations about race, history, and accountability. In this case, her critique of Maher's pandemic stance wasn't just about masks. It was about what she saw as a lack of empathy for those most affected by COVID-19. Goldberg's polarizing takes have made her both a hero and a target within Hollywood's progressive circles. But as we'll see, her arguments didn't always hold up under scrutiny, especially when Ma decided to respond to the tension between BillMaher and Whoopi. Goldberg reached its peak during their public exchanges on The View in real time. Ma didn't just brush off Goldberg's critiques. He dismantled them with his signature wit and unapologetic logic. He accused Goldberg of clinging to outdated narratives and ignoring the realities of public frustration with pandemic restrictions. Goldberg fired back, defending her position with passion but struggling to counter Maher's points effectively. The result was a cultural clash that highlighted not just their differences, but also the growing divide within Hollywood itself. A divide between those who championed free speech at all costs and those who prioritized social responsibility at the heart of this feud lies a deeper issue: cancel culture. Maher has long been a vocal critic of what he sees as an unforgiving culture that punishes people for saying the wrong thing. He argues that the solution to offensive speech isn't censorship, but more speech, a principle rooted in democratic values. Goldberg, however, seems to take a different approach. Her defense of progressive ideals often comes across as dismissive of dissenting views, leading critics to accuse her of hypocrisy. This clash over free speech versus accountability is emblematic of broader societal debates and is one reason why this feud has captivated so many. One of Maher's most pointed critiques came when he addressed what he sees as Hollywood's disconnect from real-world issues affecting Black Americans. According to Maher, people aren't asking for endless discussions about privilege or performative activism. They're asking for jobs, economic stability, and effective policing. Goldberg countered by pointing to progressive policies aimed at addressing systemic inequality, but arguments felt disconnected from the immediate concerns. Maher highlighted this section of their debate revealed not just ideological differences, but also contrasting priorities within progressive circles. Few topics are as polarizing as police reform, and Maher didn't hold back in his criticism of calls to defund the police, labeling such ideas as stupid. He argued that they alienate voters and undermine efforts to address real issues like crime and safety. Goldberg defended these calls as part of a broader push for systemic change, but her arguments struggled to resonate with audiences outside Hollywood's progressive bubble. This debate underscored the challenges of bridging ideological divides on such contentious issues. The View has long been known for its heated debates and polarizing commentary, but its role in this feud is particularly noteworthy. As one of Hollywood's most prominent platforms for progressive voices, it has become both a battleground and a lightning rod for criticism. Maher took aim at The View's tendency to shut down dissenting opinions, accusing its hosts, including Goldberg, of promoting an echo chamber rather than fostering genuine dialogue. This critique resonated with many viewers who feel alienated by Hollywood's increasingly partisan tone. Another flashpoint in this feud was President Biden's controversial pardon of his son Hunter, a decision that sparked outrage across political lines. Maher criticized the move as hypocritical, pointing out that it undermines calls for accountability. Within progressive circles, Goldberg defended Biden's decision, arguing that it was motivated by frustration with systemic inequities rather than favoritism. But her defense fell flat in the face of mounting evidence suggesting otherwise. One of Maher's most scathing critiques was aimed at what he sees as the irony within woke culture, a movement that preaches tolerance while often silencing dissenting voices. He highlighted Goldberg's criticism of him as an example of this hypocrisy, arguing that true tolerance means allowing space for differing opinions, even unpopular ones. This argument struck a chord with viewers who feel disillusioned by Hollywood's increasingly rigid ideological landscape.